So today I'm also testing something that I wanted to just see how well people receive it and how well people like it. But I wanted to go over some old hymns, um, kind of just sing them out a little bit and maybe make some suggestions on them of what might change about them and what you might consider, doing with it. And anyway, so today I decided to do As the Deer Panted for the Waters, or for the water. So, anyway, here we go. So I'm going to sing each verse, and then I'm going to go through and give a brief description of the verse and what might change in it. So, as the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. So basically, in this verse, it is stating that how much your soul longs for Yahweh, and what you're looking at here is a heart's desire to be able to worship Yahweh. And something that I might change here, um, when it says, "And I long to worship Thee," is I believe that a better word would be I strive to worship thee. And the reason being is because longing to worship means you have a desire to, but you're not doing it. Striving to worship is the I am doing my best to worship you, and I am going to get better and better at it. So in the next ones, I'm definitely going to be changing that word from long to strive, and we'll see how well that works. You alone are my strength, my shield. Basically, what that means is, he's your strength, he's your shield. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Protection and being able to withstand what comes your way. To you alone may my spirit yield. Now this is kind of interesting because you have both mentions of soul, which is longing after you, and you alone may my spirit yield. Now the interesting thing about that is your soul is the one that generally desires to have a purpose and have you know figure out what you're doing. So therefore, it's like that heart, that God-shaped hole in the heart per se. So what you're looking at is that this is your soul's your soul's desire. But why is it that to you alone may my spirit yield? Well, the reason being is because your spirit, especially if you look at it from a pre-Adamic age, your spirit has existed for a very long time, and your spirit sometimes gets very very uh it doesn't like to yield to people very much. So therefore, saying that my spirit yields to you is basically saying that my strength, my power that I have yields to you. Anyway, that's my thought of the first verse. So here we go to the second verse. Verse 2. You are my friend and you are my brother, even though you are a king. I love you more than any other, so much more than anything. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I strive to worship thee. So you're my friend and you are my brother. So something to look at in this is you're my friend. So Yeshua is your friend because he stands at the door and knocks, and whoever brings him in, you're adopted into the family. You become a child of Yahweh by joining the family tree, so to say, spiritually grafted in. Um, and Yeshua is King of Kings, Lord of Lords. And when you look at his description, so therefore you are literally the family of a king. Um, and if you look at your heart, it should be I love you more than any other, so much more than anything. Basically, it's because when you really start to look at and cling onto Yeshua, you find that it is something that you should really be striving for. Um, anyway, that's a pretty good verse, and I believe that strive for thee does work in here. And I wouldn't change too much more about this particular one. I think that pretty much describes it. I'm sure that there's some stuff that could be done, but anyway. So verse 3. I want I want you more than gold or silver, only you can satisfy. You alone are the real joy giver and the apple of my eye. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. Now, see, this one here, I think verse 3 works out pretty well as to I want you more than gold or silver. Basically, that's saying more than money, more than wealth, more than riches, so on and so forth. Only you can satisfy. Well, the reason being that only he can satisfy is because when you look at it, gold and silver does not satisfy your soul, and it definitely doesn't do anything for your spirit either. So what you're looking at here is that you're saying you're acknowledging that only Yeshua can give you what you need in your soul and spirit. Um, and you alone are the real joy giver. Well, why is it classified as the real joy giver? So the reality is that when you're looking at the real joy giver, is that you're finding that it is one of those here is there is joys that can happen everywhere. However, a true joy, a long-lasting joy, is that is Yeshua, because basically when all is said and done, if you are doing everything correctly, then what ends up happening with this is that you've now got true joy that comes from knowing Him. And the apple of my eye. Basically, the apple of my eye means that when you look at something, it's like it's everything that you want, and so on and so forth. So does this hold up today? I believe it does. And like I said, there's only one thing that I really looked at it and said that it could really change, and that would just basically be, and I long to worship thee, to I strive to worship thee. And the main reason is I look at it and say, well, if you change it to where you are striving, then what ends up happening is that you are doing. You're not just saying, "Well, I'd like to one day worship you." You're saying, "I am actively working on this, and I know I'm not perfect yet, but I'm going to get there." So anyway, I hope that is a good explanation. And hey, let me know if you want more of this. Anyway, I hope that everybody's having a wonderful day.